Hello YouTube, Johnny Skywatcher here, and welcome to Johnny Skywatcher Live, the show where I like to talk about movies, TV, gaming, and whatever else I can find on the internet that I think is worth talking about. So nice when it works. Anyway, let's get to that. Now I gotta change the thing. Okay, there we go. So, this is the article. I'm pretty sure this is the source of the article from The Hollywood Reporter, which I don't know how reliable they are. I think they sometimes come out with reliable scoops, but other times some of the things they say don't really turn out to be true. I think in terms of reliability, and which, keep in mind, I am in no way an expert about this, but it seems to me from what I've heard that like you have Deadline and let's say Variety up here as being like really reliable. You can pretty much trust them when they say it there. And then Hollywood Reporter seems like somewhere in the middle, here. And then you got, your Scoopsters, other sites like We Got It Covered or those that they're just totally making stuff up. So yeah, I don't know about this. I'm very skeptical about this especially the details of this. Like the general idea maybe, but I feel like there's got to be something that's not quite right here. So anyway, Jamie Foxx returning as Electro, exclusive. And then they make a pun. How's that for shocking news? Yeah. The next Spider-Man movie, oh my god, is getting a major jolt. Shocking. So, okay. Anyway, that kind of broke me a little bit. I'll be honest with you. That broke me just a tiny bit to have to read. Jamie Foxx, who played classic Spidey villain Electro, even though, Electro's a classic villain, but he was in no way similar to the classic villain. And the Andrew starring Amazing Spider-Man 2 is in final talks. It doesn't even say we've heard from sources that's in final talks. It just says is in final talks to reprise the role for the latest Spider-Man installment starring Tom Holland and being made by Marvel Studios and Sony Pictures. And then, then they just have some background information because why? Really all they have for this article is this one sentence, which is really just Jamie Foxx is in final talks to reprise the role for the latest Spider-Man installment. And then John Watts, filmmakers and director's chair, most of supporting class is returning. I can't talk. Marvel had no comment. I mean, that's not really surprising. Okay, and that doesn't invalidate this, obviously. There's all the times where... There are plenty of times when... I can't talk. There's plenty of times when scoops have been made, and then, of course, the studio doesn't say anything until, like, much later, but... that have been true. So the fact that Marvel doesn't say anything doesn't really mean anything. And story details are being kept under the mask, but having Fox return is a stunner as it shows a further melding of the previous Spider-Man movies into the current Holland series, which is the first one that has Marvel running point on production. Yeah, I don't know about this. See, that's the thing. It just doesn't make sense to me. Because they're talking about not just Jamie Foxx returning to two things. They're saying Jamie Foxx is returning as Electro and possibly the same, not just as a different version of Electro, but the same Electro in Spider-Man from Amazing Spider-Man 2? Why would they do that? Honestly, I gotta be serious. Why would they keep that same version? Unless we're doing some weird Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness thing, I don't know, unless they really want to work with Jamie Foxx and want to give him a chance to do this character right, which I don't know how, I don't know how the actor felt about Amazing Spider-Man. I think most people were not that impressed by the performance, and so maybe there is the possibility, I think, that Marvel is giving Jamie Foxx a second chance of saying, you know, we know you kind of got screwed in Amazing Spider-Man 2, so let's do this, try this again, and do a different take on it. That's the only way I see it happening, really. The idea of him returning as this exact same Electro from Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then just it's somehow all connected, that seems stupid to me. For one thing, this is a different Spider-Man. That's always been clear. This is not the same Spider-Man from Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's a completely different continuity. I know people might say maybe they're doing something with like the multiverse in that way. I really hope not. I don't know. If you're going to do the multiverse, why would you use that to bring in Electro? And I don't know. I personally, I don't think it's a good idea. The only way I could see them doing sort of the Spider-Verse, live-action Spider-Verse in the next Spider-Man movie is if they bring in either Andrew Garfield or Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, which I think would please a lot of fans. I don't necessarily think it's the best move for that movie. I don't think that would be a great idea. I think it could be kind of continuity breaking. You know, I know that they are kind of moving towards different ideas with Phase 4, and especially people are looking to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and they're saying, well, that could be really breaking things open and changing things with the MCU. I kind of hope it doesn't, because I don't know, it could get too far, because, you know, one of the reasons why we kind of have these big events in the comics to begin with goes back to Crisis on Infinite Earths with DC. And if you remember why that actually happened, is because things got way too confusing with all the multiple Earths. And so they decided, okay, let's get rid of the multiverse and shrink everything down to one. And then even then they couldn't keep a hold of that. And the reason why it's way too complicated, because even after that, it gets complicated because you have characters who aren't just that character. No, I mean, look at the Marvel Universe in the comics right now, the main Marvel Universe. You have characters like Miles Morales, who it's not just a simple thing of like his story, because he actually comes from a different universe which doesn't exist any longer, except he's somehow retroactively part of this universe, even though he remembers being part of a different universe. And then that's confusing. and so imagine if they bring the exact same, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Electro into this. Then you're going to have the same thing, where you're going to have characters that are, you know, multiverse characters. And then that brings up the question, does the original MCU universe have its own version of Electro or not? I don't know. I feel like it's a huge can of worms, and I don't know. I'm not really in support of this. Anyway, what do you think about it? Are you in favor of Jamie Foxx returning as Electro, or do you think this has a big possibility of being total BS? Let me know in the comments below, and I think that is going to be everything from me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support the channel, you can always click that subscribe button, click that like button, you know, the usual YouTube things. Go ahead, type in a comment. I don't care. I don't care what the comment is. If you didn't like the video, then good for you for watching the whole thing to this point, or maybe you skipped ahead. I don't know. What can I say? Anyway, I hope you have a terrific rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.